Coming up with topics, things to talk about in your content marketing strategy is just like the first of many hurdles of getting content published. And so in this week's video, I want to give you a simple system to help lighten the load on you from your week to week, your day to day type posting schedule. In this past week's live workshop that I do every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over Zoom with my school community, Small Business Society, all of my members are currently trying to create their own audiences to grow their small businesses. So as we started talking about their content that they're publishing to Substack and other platforms, this kind of structure of how to get ahead of that and knowing what you're going to talk about in advance came up, and it really piqued the interest of the members. And so I decided to create them a deeper dive training, which I've already shared in the community, but I also decided that it would be a great training to share with my YouTube community as well. So I hope that you get a lot of value in it and enjoy watching it, and I'll see you in the comments. I wanted to go further into this topic, which I kind of broached at this week's past workshop, because I felt like you all were definitely this piqued interest, and it definitely always having a plan can answer so many questions for you and make things easier for you throughout the month. So I wanted to deep dive a little bit further into what I was talking about regarding theming the month and then the sub themes of every week and all that kind of stuff, and just really try and go a little bit deeper for you. To obviously, to each their own, modify it to what works for you. I will say that having multiple weeks out to talk about for teasing and things like that, and understanding where you're going, having your ship sails with the wind behind it, so to speak, is definitely calming. It's less stressful for you and everything. So let's get into it. So monthly content planning. I actually prefer monthly. There are people out there that want to do 90-day sprints and launches where they're launching a product and this is the product that's launching and it's not available to the end of this 90 days, and then they build their content plan backwards to build up to that point, right? They build the product and all that, and then they're promoting the whole time while educating and making content and everything. I don't like that. I like just going a month out. It leaves things flexible, life changes, that sort of thing. So when to plan? The best day to plan, or best time to plan, is the last week of the month, obviously, on one day. And it shouldn't take you forever, maybe an hour or two, depending on how deep you want to go. So definitely, on your calendar, if you use Google Calendar or something like that, you could create a recurring task that says, or if you use a paper planner, whatever your flavor is of how you plan, that needs to be a recurring, happens on the same day in the last week of every month. The last Friday of every month, you're planning the content for the next month, right? And that way, you just get to work every day. The month starts and you already know what you're doing. So, but I'm going to throw a few other things in here that we didn't cover in the workshop, which is one, how to plan. Now, this is personal preference here. I prefer paper. Even though I run a online business, and most of everything I do is digital, as far as what the products, even this video I'm sending you is digital, everything. But my thinking and my creativity happens on paper first, and that's what I prefer. Now, this is personal preference. You might say, Charlie, I'm gonna just rock it out on some digital thing, like I'm using Miro right now. I'm gonna crank out a calendar on here and I'm gonna do my thing. Whatever keeps you consistent and helps you follow through is the most important thing. For me, I start on paper and then it goes into my Google Calendar. I run my life from my Google Calendar. What I'm doing right now for you to record this video is on my Google Calendar. So my content needs to be on my Google Calendar. The YouTube video I'm creating today is on my Google Calendar. I'm creating a VSL video for school today. That's on my calendar. It starts on paper. It gets on my digital calendar. Yours may start digitally, but either way, it needs to get into a calendar. Ultimately, that's where it needs to be, whether that's a paper one or a digital one. Now, here's the piece of the La Resistance that I did not really cover in the workshop. You should have an overarching goal or objective for the month. You're doing all this work, right? Like you're planning all this great content you're going to be creating for these people. You should have a reason why you're doing it. Your why could be, it's fun, Charlie. That's a great reason. I just want to have fun. Okay, that's your objective. That's fine. There's nobody judging you for that. But I would think the people in this group, Small Business Society, have a different objective in mind. You want to there's one book that you're wanting to push for the month, right? How are you going, if that's the thing that you're trying to sell for the month, how are you, not every single day, but inside of that monthly content plan, bringing that call to action into some of your content that you're pushing out? Is it linked inside of your weekly newsletters so that people can find a way to purchase it, that sort of thing? You may have an event coming up you want to get people to. You may just be in a audience building mode and that you are right now at 163 subscribers, and by the end of the month I want to be at 263 subscribers. That might be the objective, right? And whatever that is for you, have one. That way when you're thinking about your content plan, and you're thinking about the structure of the things you're going to be creating for the month, you can be thinking about, and don't have 20 objectives here, okay? Have one, maybe three, 1 to 3, okay? If you, Charlie, I can't just have one, okay? Maybe one is an audience goal and another one is a product sales goal or something like that. But either way, limit it so that that you can really stay on top of the measurement of how well it does and that sort of thing. So how will you measure the success for the month? Looking backwards, right? When you review. In that week that you plan, I guess you should also look back and review and update. I guess one thing too about the how you plan part, it could be an Excel spreadsheet, right? And you could put your objective in the Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheet, whatever you want to say, Airtable, whatever, and say, okay, I'm at 163 subscribers. And then on that last Friday of the month, when you're planning your content, you look at how your objective was. I sold 3 books. I sold 10 books, or I noted that I started at 163 subscribers, but now I'm at 206 subscribers. That's a win, right? Like, I know you were shooting for 263. Don't beat yourself up. You didn't get to 263, but hey, you're not at 163 still, right? 1 is greater than 0. So when you're doing a monthly content plan, consider when you're going to plan, how you're going to plan, and this. Don't tinker on this too much. Once you figure out when and how, and then don't sit there and change it every month. Pick a simple, this should be simple, frictionless, not take you a lot of time, because the majority of time should be focused on actually executing the plan. Okay? All right. What to plan? All right. So the other day when we were talking in our group, I brought up this concept of coming up with a theme for the month. And I'm going to go down, after I go through this actual structure here, I'm going to go down and do a real world example for me that you can see about what the mindset is and how I'm thinking about it. Okay. I'm not sure that I'll use it, but I'm just going to do it just so you can see what I'm pulling from. How am I selecting a theme? That kind of thing. So a theme for the month could be, like, for one example, Pamela in the group is trying to get published. And we've mentioned that her example could be, the theme is the journey to getting published through a traditional publisher, right? Your theme for the month could be North Carolina history, or it could be, your theme for the month could be growing an audience using video. It could be your theme for the month could be social media marketing. And all of these themes have so many sub themes, subtopics, right? And basically you are, if you pick a primary theme and then you apply a sub theme to every week, you are essentially for the whole month, by talking about all the sub themes, covering the main theme for the week, for the month, right? And so let's say, for example, social media marketing is what the theme you chose for the month. You are a social media manager, or you're a whatever, right? You know, the first week could be, planning your social media calendar, or creating a social calendar. Meta here, like how to create a social calendar for your plan, to where you're covering not only audience growth, but you're also evenly promoting what you need to be promoting, and how to create that plan. And what's your strategy? Like, what is your social media strategy? What content types and platforms will you be posting on, and on what iteration and schedule? And will you be repurposing content and all this kind of stuff? So that first week could be all about the structure, right? The strategy, the plan, all that. The second week, and that's all about social media marketing, right? The next part about social media marketing could be platform specific. Let's say their strategy was that they were going to focus on TikTok. So this entire week could be all about creating content on TikTok, using the editing features on TikTok, all of that kind of stuff. Like all the things about TikTok, there's many things about TikTok that you can talk about. And I'll talk about the many things here in a second. That third week could be social media advertising, right? So part of social media marketing is actually getting reach through paid advertising, and how you would craft a social media campaign and all of that stuff, depending on the platform, how much you should spend, what creative you should use, should you have a funnel in place or a landing page, things like that. And then the last could be measurement. It could be, how are you reporting? How do you report results of a social media campaign? How do you determine success for your social media campaigns? How do you, or it could go just deeper into another platform. This could have been text-based social media marketing, and this could be video-based social media marketing. It depends on you. A lot of this is subjective, right? So I'm just trying to give an example. Now, the days of the week are where you drill down into the sub thing, right? You see how we're drilling, okay? So like Monday could be, and I'll put this in terms of Substack just because several people use that here, but this is just for general purposes. If you don't use Substack, let's say your pillar piece of content goes out on Monday, and it's the piece of content that feeds the rest of the week, right? That pillar piece of content was what introduces and broadly covers what the theme for the week is, right? It's the pillar. We're talking now about strategy and planning your social media, and what software to use, what media are you going to be creating, what are you going to iterate, all that. And so it should be a comprehensive piece of topical authority, piece of writing or video, whatever it is for you, podcast, newsletter, blog, whatever. Let's say that goes out at the beginning of the week. So then your next day could be, or this day could be then breaking all that down into posts, like notes or social posts, where you're repurposing the content, right? Like you're doing a note. And in terms of Substack, on Wednesday could be your chat day, where you ask a question or something like that in your notes, again, but you're staying in line with the topic. You're using the days, you found your theme, you're drilling down into that theme with your sub themes, And then for this subtopic theme, you are drilling down even further into this topic, but using your pillar piece of content as, so that pillar piece of content makes everything easier. It makes it like, right now, I'll give you an example. When I publish a YouTube video, my team takes the transcript and converts it into a blog post that goes on my agency website. My team creates several YouTube short videos that go out throughout the week for promoting the video itself, the short video. The blog post gets converted into a newsletter that is then sent out to people that are on the email list of my agency. The blog post gets 3 to 5 different variations of social media posts that get scheduled out in our social media scheduler and will in perpetuity be constantly. We use a tool called MeetEdgar that does automation for the social calendar. And so basically that YouTube video I create on Fridays feeds the whole next week, right? It feeds all the content for the next week as far as that other stuff. Anything else I create is gravy. If I get a hair up my butt to send out a tweet, something like that, all of that is just me having fun. But understanding what you're going to do with these days, you create a pillar piece of content. But what makes it easy, though, is that you already have the topic for the week. You don't have to scrounge. Because you took a day to plan the whole month, you're not sitting there scrounging around. If you're running even out of, like, you did your pillar piece of content, but you're like, wow, I could probably say some more stuff that I'm not thinking about, get on ChatGPT and say, this is, who I'm talking to, and this is the theme I'm talking about for the month, and this week I'm talking about this subtopic, and can you give me some ideas of some things to talk about that I might not be thinking about? And then it jogs your memory. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's part of it. I'm not saying use the ChatGPT output as your content. I'm saying let it just inspire you, right? Give you a starting point. Maybe it fills a gap or fills a hole that you weren't expecting, right? You could create a prompt that does this for you. You could literally say, ChatGPT, this is my theme for the month. Please create my four-week sub-themes. And then for each sub-theme, create a daily subtopic of the subtopic for me to talk about. And it literally spit out everything. And so you could automate this in some way, but I never like all of it. I'll get a few ideas from it. I'll never use all of it because I like to have control over what I talk about. It's more fun. Again, so this is just another... On this day, you could be, on Thursday, you could do your video. On Friday, you can do another post. I did put in here, and you can see in the page here, Saturday BTS and Sunday teaser. And what that is that because you have a plan, you can tease what's coming here, what pillar piece that's for this Monday. Tomorrow, I'm going to be releasing my next big piece of content on this subtopic. So it builds, people know it's coming. You could even say it'll be live at 7 a.m. tomorrow or something like that. This helps you get ahead too. Like you could go ahead and be creating, because you've created this plan, you can be creating content ahead of time and scheduling it ahead of time. What's coming. Now, BTS means, and even Friday could be BTS, behind the scenes. How is the sausage made? What is your life like? Are you a pet owner, a dog lover? People love getting to know the people that they're learning from, right? So mix in some personal branding. It's all about value 100%. It's all about giving someone value. So don't make it me too much. You should be mixing in your personality, your quirkiness. Y'all have already seen me bring up toys and, that I have here for my kids when they come and I hand them toys and they play. Don't be afraid to show that stuff. I'm not afraid. If someone says, Charlie, you're not serious because you just flashed a toy in front of the screen and saint the place for you. Anyway, so like I'll give you an example of how to select a theme real quick and build out something like that. So for me, I have a program that I'm building out right now. It's called Small Business Mastery. And essentially it's a 9-step program that takes someone from building their offer, because you got to have something to sell, building the sales process to actually sell it and collect payment, and then onboard someone. And then that's part of delivery, onboarding, and actually delivering what was just bought from you. And that all that, you know, depends on what you do. If you're a service-based business, it could be a whole bunch of stuff. If it's a product and it's just sent from Amazon, then making sure you've got all that set up, right? And then convert, convince. It's actually capture, convince, convert, but you build backwards. You build convert first, and your follow-up systems, and then your attention-getting systems. You build them backward. You build the convert, convince first, and then you go out and start getting attention. Because if you don't have those things in place, you've got the leaky bucket. You're letting opportunities slip through. And then it goes up to scale. So we go from build to grow to scale. Scale is where we definitely get into leverage and systems and things like that free you up to grow your company even faster. This is where I'm at right now inside of my business, is in the scale phase. Leadership has a lot to do with personal branding, increasing your skills, business development with other partners, building partnerships, things like that. All right, so that nothing about all of that is. But either way, I could say, okay, what is my theme for the month, right? I could say, okay, capture. Out of this whole program right here, I could say capture is going to be the theme for the month. And so, where are we at here? I'm losing my own spot. Okay. So I'm going to hit duplicate there, and I'm going to come over here. And I'm just going to copy this whole thing. Let me move my head. It's not liking my head there. Here we go. We're going to copy this whole thing. Bear with me. We'll come way over here. That way we can. So my theme for the month is capture. And it's capturing attention. That's what capture is about. It's about capturing attention and leads and getting them into your convince system, or convert if they're a 1 to 90 day buyer and they're ready to buy. Get them into convert as fast as possible, but at least get them into convince if you have to nurture them. So it's capture. Capture would be, it can be, how are we going to capture attention on social media? So I could talk about social media this week. How are we going to capture leads? So lead generation. So I could talk about like creating I could talk about a lead magnet funnel, kind of thing, like how to actually build something out that actually captures an email address so you can nurture them. This could be how to use paid ads to capture the attention. And then finally, it could be organic SEO. How are we capturing attention, via different channels, capturing them into our actual convince setup and that sort of thing. So, and then I could record a video like I record on Fridays. And then it gets published. And so my video this week, my pillar piece of content, if I'm talking about social media, could be why you should go deep, not wide, on one platform. That might be my YouTube video. I'm sorry, I'm zoomed way out. Why you should go deep, not wide, on one platform. That's what I'm talking about for that Monday or that next week as my pillar piece of content. And then for the lead magnet, lead funnel thing could be like how to create a 5-day mini course to use as a lead magnet and how you should set up the capture of leads and all that kind of stuff. It could be Basically, how do you create this mini little lead capture system to process the attention you're capturing from your capture strategy, right? And then this week, my pillar piece of content for paid ads could be, if you are a service-based business, why you should be focused on Google Ads first, right? And talk about Google Ads and how to structure a Google Ads campaign and ad group and keywords and the ads and all this kind of stuff, and like really go deep on that topic. Again, though, the rest of this week, I would just talk about Google Ads. The whole week. A week goes by like that. I don't know about y'all. I'm recording this on Friday right now, and this week went whoosh. Like it just went whoosh. And so you think, wow, like I'm only going to talk about this for the whole month? Like it's a lot. Those 4 subtopics is a lot for a week. There's so many things that you can talk about under a subtopic. And don't be afraid to mind map it. If you're having trouble with what you're going to talk about, there's ChatGPT to give you inspiration, but there's also good old pen and paper. Take a circle, put it in the middle of a piece of paper, and write down your subtopic theme. Turn all distractions off. Sit there and draw a line. Your first idea is there's some finances associated with this. There is book cover design is definitely part of this. And because, book cover design, I should probably do a thing off of book cover design and link that to Canva, because that's where I would design a book cover anyway. And then you come over here and you're like, oh, okay, there's probably where to publish the book or something. Like you've got this sub theme, and there's so many you got the theme, the sub theme, and then the sub theme has a gazillion different things under it. You never will run out of content ideas if you go in this route. And, the consistency, and ultimately, I guess this is the piece of the part that you need to know most, is that you are developing by choosing this theme at the top of the month. You are developing this. What do I want to be known for? You want to be known as an author. You want to be known as a caregiver agency owner. Whatever. I want to be known as now maybe a business coach. What do I want to be known for? And that's where these primary themes are. You could go ahead and get froggy, and I'm gonna throw a wrinkle into this that I didn't think at the beginning that I would. But you could go ahead and do this. You could go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could go ahead and do all of your main themes. You might say, at the end of next year, I want to be known as an author. You don't have to do any of this stuff until you're planning for that next month ahead, right? But you could go ahead and say, for the next 12 months, I want to be known as an author. Okay, what do I need to talk about for the next year to be known for people that my audience, to learn that I am an author that can not only write books for them, but also teach them how to be an author? Or I am an agency owner. I want to be known as an agency owner in the caregiver space, right? Or I want to be known as a business coach. What can I talk about over the next 12 months to solidify myself, position myself as that person, as I'm building, and what you're building here is your personal brand through your content plan. Okay? And it's not saying you have to do this. I'm saying that you could do this. You could take it 1 month at a time, like I said in the beginning. I like to take it 1 month at a time. But you could do the big themes for the year and then leave all of this part below the main theme for the month as what you do monthly. But you could go ahead and say, okay, Charlie, I'm gonna start here, and then on the last Friday of this month, I'm gonna choose this month, and I'm gonna do this the last Friday of the month, and then you're on your way. I hope this was helpful. Could it spawn more questions? I hope it does. I'm happy to answer them. And overthink this either. This is actually this is meant to make this simple, okay? Don't overthink it. Think about this as, flip the way you think about it to being a unlock to freedom of mental capacity that you will free up because you have already got the plan done. Think about it. Having a plan, knowing what's ahead, what to expect. If you think about it too, now that you know what you're going to be talking about the next week, you could be in the shower or working on another piece of content, and then knowing that next week I know next week I'm building out my social media stuff, but next week I'm talking about lead magnets, and I might have a lead magnet idea in my head already. I can go ahead and note that down, and I've already crossed off something I've got to create for the next week because I know what's coming, right? It's something I can add to it. I can make an extra post one day. It could lead into getting froggy and putting your face in front of your phone and being about something and adding to the plan, ad hocing, ad libbing. So have fun. That's the biggest piece of the equation. I love one thing that my father-in-law would say to my wife, and I now say to my children, is have fun, learn a lot, but most of all, have fun when dropping them off at school. And I want to say that to you too here. Have fun, learn a lot, but most of all, have fun with this, okay? And that will come through in your content if you're having fun doing it. I enjoyed creating this for you. And if this helps just one person in the community, then I have won the game. All right. I hope you enjoyed this content and found it helpful. If you want more like this, consider joining my free school community, Small Business Society. Like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. You can find the link to my school community, which is completely free to join, down in the description of the video. I look forward to seeing you there or in the comments, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch and get out there and kick some butt.